This is News Central. I'm Adeshawa Josh. Our top stories tonight. PDP's National Executive Committee meets form a committee to resolve lingering crisis in the party. President Bola Tinubu seeks legislative approval for new external borrowing plan to the tune of $21.5 billion. King Charles delivers historic speech from the throne on Tuesday, praising Canada as a force for good that will remain strong and free.
In business, oil marketers jailed for 2.2 billion naira subsidy fraud as Lagos court orders asset forfeiture.
And in sports, Ogun and Delta States win gold medals in the men and women's football event at the ongoing National Sports Festival. Details in a moment.
Welcome everyone. Tonight begins right now. We begin tonight with the National Executive Council Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party, which held on Tuesday in Abuja, as Nigeria's largest opposition party seeks to address its numerous internal party challenges ahead of the 2027 general elections. One of the party's most pressing issues has been its leadership crisis, with multiple factions vying for control and threatening its unity. The PDP's internal conflicts have been well documented, with various members and stakeholders expressing dissatisfaction with the party's leadership and direction. These divisions have led to a lack of cohesion and a sense of disunity, which could potentially harm the party's electoral prospects. Among the party's challenges is the recent defection of some of its members to the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), which has dealt a significant blow to its morale and strength. Also on Monday, the party's national secretariat was sealed off, forcing the postponement of its National Executive Committee meeting to the next day. Joining me now from Abuja is a PDP chieftain and elder statesman, Chief Bode George. He's also a member of the Board of Trustees of the party. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
The PDP has had quite an eventful week. And you have just wrapped up your National Executive Committee meeting, which, going by reports, was supposedly successful. Can you tell us briefly what renewed your hope about the party at that meeting at a time when Nigerians are calling your party dead?
Let me be frank. There is no organization anywhere in the world, including the developed world, any organization, you will always have crisis. You will always have disagreement. But your ability to close up details, disagreements, debate, discuss, and come to a final decision will be a measure of your competence. What happened today was a measure of the largeness, the capacity, the true Iroko party of this country, a party that has from the north to the south, from the west to the east, people who have experience in national management, which is absolutely lacking now. We made a slip, no doubt about it. We made a mistake. You know, people manipulated the presidential primaries, and that is what landed us where we are. And I can tell you, today has been a rebirth of the real political Iroko party in Nigeria. The only political party that has a structure everywhere. And I dare the APC to tell me if they have the same structure that we have. They may be in government now, but time will tell. Take the economic indices of this country. See how angry the younger generation, the Gen Z are. My own children too are part of those who are suffering. They went to school, graduated, there is no future, there is no job, there is no hope, there is hunger in the land. And somebody is telling me people are joining their party. It's self-conceitedness. Because what have you done to put a smile on the faces of these same young people? Nothing.
Chief,
so those who are moving, let me finish this one. Those who are moving to this APC party have what I call an internal cement to hold their guts. The party, the platform that gave you the opportunity to convince the electorate to win elections. Halfway through, you are jumping ship. Jumping. To go and do what? What is attractive on the other side? We are waiting. I am happy this day came to being. We had met. Today is a rebirth of the goodness of the PDP. Take all the economic indices while we were in government and compare them with where we are now today. It's a joke. This does not, the change of power does not belong to those who are jumping ship now. The Nigerian electorate will decide. The power resides with the people. We will be out in large numbers.
Wow.
Today, my heart was so full of joy. It is a rebirth of freedom, a rebirth of the future, an encouragement to the younger generation, the Gen Z generation, and you will see.
Chief, can I come in here? Thank you, thank you. I wanted you to land. So these same people, a lot of Nigerians, have called members of the PDP Board of Trustees and leadership chicken because they can't seem to take on Nyesom Wike. How do you react to this?
You want me to, I can't hear. You want me to react to that question?
Yes, they're calling you chicken. The entire leadership of PDP,
Okay.
They said it's a joke.
See,
You have not been able to put up a viable opposition against APC. And without a viable opposition, we cannot have a healthy democracy. Right now, the APC is winning. We need a proper challenger. But
they must be in a dreamland. You know, the APC is a congregation of strange bedfellows. They have no structure. We have a structure. Yes, anybody who has done something wrong for the party, there is a process. You just don't wake up as if it's your private fiefdom. People think that because Wike did this, he did that, you can just come, chairman board of trustee will just come and say you are fired. That is the APC. We don't do that in our party. No matter how long, you give him time to answer certain questions and queries. It is not only him that has caused this mayhem. The Atiku group too, they have their part. They are shopping now for mega coalition here and there. That's not the culture of this party. Let this party decide, yes, let us suck in this, accept this, but for you to go on your own to visit President Buhari, who is a leader of the opposition, speaks volume of a misbehavior. Wike, yes, has his, the way he shouts and does this, and one thing that he just did that is so disheartening to me as a political father to him is locking the headquarters of our party yesterday. No matter what. This is a party that gave you a ticket as a local government chairman, You became chief of staff to a PDP serving governor. You became a minister of state in a PDP government, and you served 8 years as a member, as a governor of on PDP platform. What else can it's like your home, your family home, and then the only thing you can do is throw odium to them in the public place. It's not acceptable. It is un-African. Can you go to your father's house and say you are now local government chairman? The first place you block, you go and seal off, will be your father's house? Is it possible? Is it normal? Is it civil? It's unacceptable. And I'm advising him. 7 million, they said we are owing. He can pay. It would have been better off if he paid that money to bring back the receipt and to show to the managers of the party that, look, I have already paid. You people have forgotten your normal duties. Here is it. There is the receipt. Give me back my money. Can you imagine how his loyalty will be rated? It will be from 0 to 100. And the commitment would have been shown that, yes, this fellow is a real, true, thoroughbred member of the PDP. But to lock it all up. And you see how smart the president did? He said, please calm down. Give them 14 days. And I am challenging them publicly that the building where the APC situates their headquarters, you should go and check it if they've ever paid any, because they have hardly had any meeting there. So who is in charge?
May come in here. Let me just quickly come in here that the PDP wasn't the only one whose office was sealed off. FIRS, a commercial bank, was also sealed off, because the fact is your party was owing. And unless you're saying that the PDP is broke, which I doubt, your party is owing. But I'd like to quickly ask this question. Paul Ibe, who you know very well, former media aide to Atiku Abubakar, was recently asked about the PDP headquarters ground rent debts that you are talking about. And his response implied that PDP rely heavily on ESM Wike for financing. If this is true, which you have alluded to actually, if Wike is indeed the breadwinner of your party, would you say this has diminished the authority of PDP party elders to rein him in at this time?
You know, let me tell you this. I joined this party since 1998. I was one of those who were elected at the first national convention of this party in 1998. I remained a member of the working committee. First, I was National Vice Chairman Southwest. I became Deputy National Chairman South, and became also Deputy National Chairman overall. I spent 10 years in this working committee of the party. To say the party is broke and whatever, and I'm shocked, because a Polibe that you are talking about knows for real, if you are the ticket bearer, the presidential candidate of the party, that makes you the leader of the party. What happened to my friend Atiku after that election? He ran to Dubai. I can quote, because one day Baba Obasanjo came to my house and said, Bode, what is going on in your party? I said, sir, our leader is in Dubai. Quote me. Baba Obasanjo said he will go and bring him back. He went to Dubai to tell him to come back. He said he was afraid of General Buhari. Eventually he came. You don't run away from responsibility. You are a political leader. You are exposed to the dictates, all the the positivities, the negativities of the land. And what is democracy? The management of the resources of that land for the benefit of the people.
That's right.
If you cannot stay and work for those people, then what are you doing in politics? That's why we had this brush in 2023. The thing was badly managed. They deviated from the norm, the process of the normal procedure as laid down by the founding fathers of our party. In the final analysis, that thing was like a little full stop. Then what happened? It has grown now into a cancer. But I can tell you that today's meeting that started yesterday is a rebirth of freedom. It's a rebirth of the future of this party. And I can tell you, looking around them there, I saw some of the old people who are still alive, because most of the old generations have passed on. We are now the next generation of leaders that we could congregate, we could discuss, we could debate. Let Nigerians be told that the future will be well for this country. Nobody can sweep us to the gutter. We have learned a lesson. We will never, ever repeat that mistake of allowing people to manipulate the procedure as laid down, the zonal and rotational procedure as laid down by the founding fathers. Typically, you know what they did? They sat together. The greatest problem in the First Republic was the majority had their way and minorities were always just sitting and looking like Malu. They designed a system where they cut Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones. And if you look at the national constitution, this is not there. But everybody uses the zonal thing now. And then they came up with 6 top positions in the land. The president, the vice president, the senate president, the speaker of the house, the secretary to the government, and the national chairman of the party. When number 1 goes up, number 2 goes down. If number 3 goes up, number 4 goes. So you find the even numbers will be in one zone and the odd numbers will be in another zone. After every 8 years, and you can check our constitution, subsection 7, subsection 3C of the constitution of our party guarantees zoning and rotation of elective offices and party offices. That guarantees that no matter how minority you are, the opportunity is there for you. And that brings to your sense of belonging that you are a Nigerian and not a tribalist. So that's how we were, these old men established our political party. And that's why go to every nook and cranny. I have snaked through this country.
Right.
Anywhere you go, you will find a PDP. That's why people have been shouting, where are you? What is this? What is this? They need a strong opposition.
Too close.
And we are ready. Today was a day that we had a rebirth of freedom for Nigerian electorate.
So you have said repeatedly that the PDP has learned its lessons and is correcting its mistakes.
Absolutely.
2027 is going to fight to finish. Does that mean the party's presidential flag bearer come 2027 will likely be a Southerner?
It has to be. I don't, like I said, at this age, what am I looking for if I can't tell you the truth? Secondly, I come from a family where my great-granduncle, Hellas Herbert Macaulay, was the first Nigerian to establish a political party. His genes are in my body. I don't flip-flop. I don't roll around like a stone that gathers no moss. I believe in this concept. I will remain with this party as long as I am alive. And we must respect the thoughts, processes, the old men that established this party put down on us. It was when we manipulated those processes that landed us in this mayhem. That's why I said we have learned a lesson. Never again will we allow ourselves turn by turn Nigeria Limited. Because after 8 years, whatever is up will come down. Whatever is down will go up. So whether you are a minority or majority, you are guaranteed that you are a Nigerian. And let me go spiritually now. Is there anybody born by woman who asks the Almighty God, Baba, I want to be a Yoruba man, or I want to be an Hausa man, or I want to be a Chinese man? Nobody. He just came. And in the Holy Book, and it is also in the Holy Quran, love your neighbor as yourself. He didn't tell you, love your Yoruba man as yourself.
All right.
Or love your Hausa man as your friend.
Yes.
Let us put the fear of God first.
Absolutely.
Before we start dribbling about power.
Chief.
Because it will end up one day.
But Chief Olabode, George, I mean, listening to you,
Yes.
you've been throwing Atiku Abubakar under the bus since this interview began. I was wondering if that means that you are exonerating Nyesom Wike.
No way. Didn't you hear what I said?
I heard you.
What Wike did yesterday, he's my political son. You know, what he did yesterday was culturally unacceptable in any African setting. You don't go to your father's house, the house that you were born, they fed you, they sent you to school, they made you to mature. I told you, Wike became local government chairman under this party. He became the chief of staff to a serving governor of our party. He became a minister of state for education under our party and became governor of Rivers for 8 years. So what you will deserve is an odium, a disgrace to the party by locking that office. I told him that, look, what you did was unacceptable. And I'm talking to him as a father. If he had gone to pay and to bring the receipt back to the party that, look at you, you didn't pay, I have paid.
Right.
His rating in terms of loyalty would have gone from 0 to infinity.
That's right. Chief
But doing what you did, it's not acceptable. Both sides, they are all my friends. Is Atiku not my friend? But the way they managed the last election was demeaning. It was disheartening, and they saw the results. A lot of cheap people became their coordinators. And what did they do? They sold the party stock and barrel.
Before I let you go, and very briefly,
Right.
does the PDP have a future without Wike? And what is that like?
It's no problem. Is there an individual that owns our party? Our party, look, this party is not owned by any individual. I can say that to you emphatically.
Right.
Take, for example, when Papa Ekweme, he was the chief convener of the G14 when they started. He invited Baba Bola Ige from the Southwest and Baba Solomon La, and so many of these people came together. After the party was established, He contested 2 times for the presidential ticket. He failed. He didn't bring down the roof. That is what you call civility. No matter the history, no matter the professor who will write the history of PDP, that he will not find a suitable chapter thanking him for his contribution. That is the essence of life. Nothing in life ends forever.
That's right.
This is why we are saying, please stop this aggrandizement. I want to quote finally the words of the current chairman of the Board of Trustees today in his speech. That's Senator Nwagbara. He said, we must have more selfless leaders for the nation and less selfish leaders for this nation. That speech, that statement made it all.
That's right.
Because the essence of our being is to ensure that the common people, the electorate, will feel the impact, the positive impact of governance.
Right.
And I've defined it. What is democracy? What is democracy?
Chief
the utilization of the resources of the land for the benefit of the people.
Indeed.
All these ones, now my wife, now my son, now my this, absolute garbage.
Well, on that note,
you wait for us when we start campaigning.
All right. We're looking forward to it.
I thank you for this opportunity.
We thank you for staying up this late to come on the show. Thank you so much, Chief Olabode George, PDP chieftain and elder statesman. We really appreciate you. Thank you and good night.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Coming up tonight, Nigeria celebrates Children's Day as President Tinubu promises them enabling environment. We have details of these and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Tonight on News Central. I'm Adeshawa Josh. The Senate has received a formal request seeking approval for a $21.5 billion external loan and a 758 billion naira domestic bond issuance from President Tinubu. According to the president, the funds will be used to finance critical infrastructure, health, education, and water supply projects across the country. The request was read during plenary and has been referred to the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts. Lawmakers expect a report on the proposal within 2 weeks, and in a separate letter, the president also asked the Senate to approve federal government bonds worth 757.9 billion naira in the domestic debt market. That funding is earmarked to pay outstanding pension liabilities under the contributory pension scheme.
The House of Representatives is invited to note that the 2025-2026 borrowing plan cut across all sectors with specific emphasis on infrastructure, agriculture, health, education, water supply, growth, security and employment generation, as well as financial management reforms, among others. Total facility of the project and programs under the borrowing rolling plan is United States dollars 21,543,647,912, and also 2 billion euro, 2,193,856,324.54 euro.
Let's now take you to Abidjan, where Professor Ken Ife, an economic expert, is standing by for more on this story. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I suppose because the federal government has fully repaid its IMF loan, the country is now considered credit-worthy. The question many Nigerians are asking, however, is it prudent to go on a borrowing spree now?
The money we paid back to IMF wasn't the only debt. It's just our total debt stock is over $94 billion. And we just liquidated about 4.5, something like that, to IMF, because this was borrowed against the COVID area during the COVID time. So that's fine. It just gives us a clean bill of health in relation to IMF lending. But there are others. Now, this particular lending is a lot more serious because you're talking about over $21.5 billion. And then there's also yen, 15 billion yen. And then also there's euro, 2.19 billion euro. And there's a small sweetener of $65 million, which might well go to palliatives and all those social inclusion things. But there are several worries. First of all, there's nothing you can do about pension fund. They attract sovereign guarantee. It's a necessary debt to be paid. You don't want to joke with the morale of the workforce. Pay them their money. So that is not negotiable. That will have to be paid. But there's a second side of it, which is the fact that this borrowing opens up two major issues. It is going to take our debt to GDP ratio to well over 60%, which is very difficult now. Then secondly, it's going to raise massive issue about debt repayment, debt service. That debt service will now hit the roof. And then at a period when there's dwindling revenue from oil and challenging prices, and we're only halfway on this production statistics. But there is going to be a lot of issues to contend with. But let me tell you what is very critical. We have a subsisting law, which we call Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007. Now, that law governs public finance management. It governs fiscal policies, the medium-term expenditure framework for budget planning, then it covers debt and debt management. Now, that law has conditions under which you can borrow money. It says it has to be long-term. So we hope that some of these monies are going to be long-term. And long-term, we understand, to be 10 years and above. The law also says you have to borrow on concessionary terms. We don't know as of now what the terms of this borrowing are going to be. Concessionary is reckoned to be 3% or less.
Right.
But I'm not... Yeah, and then also it talks about cost-benefit analysis, which is what is the most critical instrument. What are you borrowing the money for? We need to borrow when we're in a situation where we're finding ourselves. But we have to have a discussion, economic corridor, industrial corridor, commercial corridor, so that the capability of the borrowing to repay the money to service the infrastructure is there. If you wander into the desert or wander to anywhere and build infrastructure and you're never able to pay it, it runs counter to what the law says about borrowing. And then, of course, there is the other critical issue that it says, financial institutions must borrow within the framework, or if not, it will be an unlawful borrowing. So all of these are going to be put on the table. But whether you can borrow or not, the need is there. But it's the prudence around the borrowing, it's the transparency around the borrowing, it's the accountability around the borrowing. I've seen what we wanted to borrow money for, but there's normal things that we will normally borrow money, but we have acid tests that we have to make, we have to institute.
So, as an economic expert, you have established the fact that Nigeria needs to borrow, the federal government needs to borrow, and it is the prudence around it, is how to manage, how to raise the money and pay that is the issue now. You have seen this government in the last 2 years. Are you confident that this government can borrow and repay its debt within the frameworks that you have just laid down?
But it just repaid IMF loan, in bullet payment. One bullet payment has repaid IMF loan. See, one of the things that you have to look at is, which is where the alarm bell has to be. If you go and do short-term borrowing, like the Euro bond at 10%, and then 1 year, 2 years, 1.5 years, you use that to service long-term debts that are in concessionary terms, about 3-4%, then you are running into troubled waters. I have to tell you that. It is not prudent. It is not defensible. You can't borrow short-term to service long-term debt. You are heading to financial crisis. So that is one. Then, of course, the second one is what I have said before, that we need to make sure that there is a discussion about the infrastructure we are borrowing money for. And that discussion is around the economic corridor, commercial corridor, residential corridor. You know, you have to have a corridor where economic activities will ensure that it is repaid, it is even maintained. That's the second discussion. And that's what the law is pointing out when the law says you must have analysis. That's what it is looking at.
Professor Ken Ife, we're going to have to leave this conversation there tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, an economic expert. Thank you. You see, many Nigerians have wondered and sought to know why banditry and kidnapping, which have plagued many communities, especially in northern Nigeria, seem unending. News Central Television has attempted to unravel some of the activities that tend to feed the monstrous challenge that the nation has been grappling with for years. This follows a recent interview granted by a retired major and leader of Dandume community vigilante group in Katsina, which reveals that some bad elements in the army are colluding with bandits in carrying out different atrocities in the region. Dennis Amakri is a former assistant director of the Department of State Services, DSS. He joins me from New York to speak to the security development that we have been reporting on. Thank you for joining us tonight. What specific evidence or intelligence has led to the allegations of Nigerian army personnel colluding with bandits? And do we know of any evidence that has been made public?
Well, of course, this particular arrest was made public where an army captain was found to be colluding, with the bandits. And was it yesterday or so, last week, the police also, arrested a member of the House of Assembly in Zamfara State. And then, of course, also went ahead to arrest another local government chairman, some others. So with this, for the person coming up to the media to say that they actually arrested the guy with some evidence showing, then of course, yes, this is happening.
So how do you expect the Nigerian army to respond to these claims?
Well, of course, the Nigerian army should be very, very much used to this. In a situation like this, there is always double agents. We call them double agents in security. Double agents are people who are eating with two hands. They are dealing with the terrorists. They are also dealing with the Nigerian army, and sometimes they could even be part of the Nigerian army, just like we've got recently. So this kind of situation should be dealt with properly. I think there is need for thorough investigation.
Right.
Thorough investigation to go down deep to find out what is causing it. We can make a guess on what actually caused it. Mainly pecuniary. People are looking for money. Because remember one thing, this particular case, the terrorism situation is a very lucrative economic situation. Many people are making millions out of it. Remember, people who are selling all kinds of things, selling fuel, selling food, selling guns, all kinds of things. So people are making money. So what we need to do is to actually investigate thoroughly and then, of course, prosecute them. Because I think what is happening is that, we've been arresting bandits, we've been arresting terrorists, but we're not seeing the prosecutorial area of it where people have been taken to court and, prosecuted and jailed. Because we need to have that to serve as a deterrent to others, And then, of course, we have the DSS, of course, have to do extra work now. I know they are doing a lot, but they have to do extra work in making sure that they dig out all these double agents,
right.
Because these people are in there.
Dennis, I just want to say that we have reached out several times to the Army for a reaction to our story. Unfortunately, we were told that they're still investigating the matter, so we're waiting for their reaction. Until then, we stand on this story. But before I let you go, what are the likely implications of these sort of allegations when the country cannot rely on the agencies that have been set up to protect them? I mean, some people have talked about this sort of thing for a long time. It's a blow in a lot of people's faces that we now actually have people who are now being arrested allegedly, or I guess they're being arrested, not even allegedly, in connection to this kind of activities.
Well, one thing is this. Like I told you earlier, this is a situation where you see a lot of double agents. And as long as double agents are concerned, we will have them all the time. Some are in government, some are in the army, some are in the police, some are in the local government, and what we need to do is to thoroughly investigate. Let's create a situation whereby, those who are even planning or who are already in it are going to be discouraged. It serves as a deterrence to them. So we cannot continue to just discover it, allow it to go away, and nothing is happening.
No longer business as usual. Thank you very much. We're going to have to leave this conversation here for now. Former Assistant Director of the Department of State Services, DSS, Dennis Amakri, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. And
outside our shores, King Charles on Tuesday delivered a throne speech at the opening of Canada's new parliamentary session in Ottawa, the first such address by a reigning monarch since Queen Elizabeth II in 1977. The speech, written by Prime Minister Mark Carney's government, outlined a bold new vision for Canada's future, highlighting a new economic and security relationship with the United States, one rooted, the King said, in mutual respect between two sovereign nations. Amid ongoing global trade tensions, the King read that Canada will unleash a new era of growth, vowing the country will not just survive trade wars, but emerge stronger than ever. The address ended with a patriotic flourish, a nod to the national anthem. The true north is indeed strong and free, drawing applause from members of parliament. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, it will be time for Money Talks, sports and entertainment. Do stay with us. Lekon joins me now for the latest in business news. Lekon, what we have today, I hear some oil marketers have been jailed for embezzling subsidy money.
Yes, 2.2 billion naira. Well, it's quite good to see that the arm of the law is actually catching up with these subsidy-related fraudsters. So I'll tell you more in a bit. The Special Offences Court in Ikeja, Lagos, convicted oil marketers Mama Nasir Ali and Christian Taylor on Tuesday, sentencing them to 14 years in prison for their involvement in a 2.2 billion naira oil subsidy fraud. Justice Mujisola Dada delivered the ruling after defendants were rearranged alongside the Salmon Oil Services Limited on an amended 57-count charge, initially facing 49 counts of conspiracy, forgery, and false representation. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission accused them of fraudulently obtaining 1.48 billion naira from the federal government by misrepresenting subsidy claims. The court also ordered the forfeiture of assets linked to the fraud and issued arrest warrants for 2 additional suspects still at large. We tell you that the 2025 annual meetings of the African Development Bank Group took place from May 26 to 30 in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, focusing on the election of the institution's new president as the current leader's second term comes to an end. And during the meetings, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, the outgoing president, delivered a powerful speech emphasizing the crucial role of the bank in achieving universal access to electricity across Africa. Additionally, underscored the importance of energy in driving development and improving lives across the continent. And now the Nigerian exchange closed positive as the all-share index rose to about 1.57% to 111,606.22 points, with market capitalization hitting 17.37 trillion naira. This reflects continued investor confidence across key sectors. And talking about sectoral performance, now banking stocks gained 0.84%, while insurance led the day with a strong 2.23% jump. The oil and gas sector added 1.41%, buoyed by stability in global oil prices. Consumer goods edged by 0.13%, showing cautious optimism amid inflation concerns, with industrial rising 0.46%, supported by renewed interest in cement and construction stocks. That's it on business. I am Lekon Obanjo. We're not done yet.
Hello and welcome to Sports. Hosts Ogun State have won the final of the men's football event at the ongoing National Sports Festival, beating Kwara State 4-1 in a pulsating final played at the MK Abiola Arena on Tuesday evening. Centre-back Ahmed Akinyele scored 2 brilliant headers in 10 minutes to put the host ahead. Kwara State pulled one back in the 13th minute from a deflected strike that left the goalkeeper stranded. In the women's final played at the Remo Star Stadium in Ikene, Delta State defeated Team Ija, that's the national under-17 girls team, 7-6 on penalties after regulation time had ended goalless. Team Ija beat Kaduna State 2-0 in the third place match in the men's football category, while Ogun State defeated Osun State by the same scoreline and claimed bronze and third place in the women's event.
Genius from Emmanuel to restore the 2-goal lead for Team Ogun. 4-goal, 3-0.
Super Eagles head coach Eric Shell has justified the inclusion of 10 Nigeria Premier Football League players, including Kano Pillars captain Ahmed Musa, in his 26-man squad for the Unity Cup and a friendly match against Russia. The four-nation Unity Cup, featuring Nigeria, Ghana, Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, runs from the 27th of March to the 31st at the GTEC Community Stadium in London, home of Bedford Football Club. Shell emphasized the importance of assessing home-based talents ahead of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. As of tonight, 22 players have arrived in the London camp. Nigeria will face Ghana on Wednesday, the 28th of May, following the opening fixture between Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, which ended 3-2 in favor of Jamaica.
10 player about 10 player of National League. 10 player. It's and I tell you, they are good player. I think Ahmed is a good player. He's a great player. I think every Nigerian know that.
Well, in a surprising turn of events, Nigerian international striker Victor Osimhen is reportedly close to joining Saudi Arabia champions Al-Hilal in a deal worth up to 50 million euros, with the Saudi Arabian government set to provide the necessary funds for the transfer. Personal terms are nearly agreed on a contract worth 17.5 million euros annually. However, the move still needs the approval from the Saudi Arabia Ministry of Sports. The Financial Viability Committee must give the green light to release government funds. Osimhen is reportedly in direct talks with Al-Hilal president Fahad bin Nafel, and the move represents a dramatic shift from European interest from Chelsea, Manchester United and Juventus, who were previously linked but couldn't meet his wage demands. Osimhen remains under contract with Napoli until 2026, and the 26-year-old scored 36 goals in 40 appearances for Turkish giants Galatasaray last season, as he led them to league and cup titles. And that's all we have on sports tonight. It's back to Adeshewa.
Well, Sam Dandy is here with the latest on entertainment news tonight. Sam, what do we have?
South African singer Tyla is doing it again. I mean, she just bagged a new Afrobeats award, and that has everyone talking because she beats our faves.
Interesting. Tell me more.
I'll tell you. Congratulations to Tyla, of course, on her big win at the AMAs in the favorite Afrobeats artist category. Now, it started a lot of conversation against, and this time it's happening again because, of course, remember the VMAs last year. On one hand, it's such a historic moment. Tyla becomes the first South African and first woman to win, beating out Afrobeat stars Wizkid, Ashake, Thames, and Rema. The win has once again stirred some debate, although Tyla herself had openly said that she doesn't consider her music Afrobeats. She's rapping Amapiano, which is a distinct South African sound with its own history, vibe, and of course audience. Global award shows often lump African sounds together as one big umbrella, but in reality, African music scenes are incredibly diverse. Tyla's Water became a global hit, but it's not built on Afrobeats rhythm, it's more about Amapiano. I have to ask you, Adesha. You know I'm going to ask you, right?
Well,
what do you think about it? Is it okay that she's
listen,
a mad piano?
it is back to the same idea that Africa is a country. We're just a country, and everything is Afrobeat.
Okay.
We have so many sounds. It's not just Afrobeat, but I rest my case there. All right.
Well, I wish we could take some more stories, but congrats to all the winners of the AMAs, including Jenna Jackson, of course, who bagged the Icon Award. That's the biggest thing in entertainment. I'm Sam Dandy.
And that's the news tonight. Before we go, Paul Ibe is the media aide to Atiku Abubakar, not the former one. You can send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screen. Follow us on all social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, AVO TV, and on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Adesha Josh. I'll see you on Wednesday.